Welcome back, everyone. This is another episode of Inside Melatonin. I'm your host, Gaganasri, a systems biology and computational biology enthusiast. And today we are going to another episode 90, Melatonin, safety, dosing, and what we still need to know. We'll explore how safe melatonin is, how it's dosed in research, and the big questions still lingering, especially for post viral conditions like long COVID. Joining us is Prachi Virat, a microbiology maven with her bachelor's and master's under her belt, and she wants to pursue her PhD on microbiome and bioinformatic interactions. Welcome back, Prachi.
Thank you, Gaganasri. I'm excited to talk about this important topic in context of melatonin.
Thrilled to have you here. Let's dive in with our first big question. What does the research tell us about melatonin's safety profile, particularly when used for conditions beyond sleep?
You see, melatonin has a well established safety profile across a range of applications. It's non addictive, does not suppress endogenous melatonin production, and exhibits low toxicity even at high doses in short term studies. Clinical trials have used it safely for sleep disorders, jet lag, and shift work, as well as in experimental settings for inflammation and oxidative stress at dose up to 100 mg per day. However, long term safety data for high dose regimes are limited, and individual variability, such as differences in hepatic metabolism by cytochrome P450 enzymes, can influence side effects like daytime drowsing or mild gastrointestinal upset in some users.
Let me simplify that for listeners. Think of melatonin as a gentle, reliable tool in your body's toolbox. It doesn't get rusty, doesn't break the machine, and works safely for most jobs like fixing sleep or calming inflammation. But like any tool, using it for heavy duty tasks like high doses for long periods, needing more testing to ensure it stays safe. Here's a follow up. Could individual differences in how people metabolize melatonin explain why some people experience side effects while others don't?
That's a sharp question, Gagnasri. Yes, genetic variation in cytochrome P450 enzymes, particularly CYP1A2, affects how quickly melatonin metabolizes in the liver. Slow metabolizers may experience prolonged effects, leading to side effects like grogginess, while fast metabolizer might need higher doses for efficacy. These differences, combined with factors like age or liver function, highlight the need for personalized dosing strategies, especially in complex conditions like long COVID, where metabolic profile can vary.
So melatonin's like a recipe that needs tweaking depending on the chef's kitchen. Let's move to our second question. What are the dosing considerations for melatonin in research, especially for inflammation or post-viral conditions like long COVID?
In research, melatonin dosing varies widely. For sleep and circadian alignment, doses ranges from zero point 0.5 to 5 mg taken 1 to 2 hours before bedtime. However, studies on inflammations, oxidative stress, or viral illness like those exploring COVID 19 often use the pharmacologic doses of 10 to 40 mg per day, sometimes higher in critical care settings. These higher doses leverage melatonin's antioxidant and anti inflammatory properties, targeting cytokine storms or mitochondrial dysfunction. However, such doses are experimental, and over the counter use should stick to lower and well tested ranges unless guided by a clinician, or as timing and purity of the supplements are critical.
So for sleep, melatonin is like a light sparkle of seasoning. But for inflammation, researchers are pouring in a bigger scoop to tackle the fire. The catch is, those big scoops are still being studied, so we stick to smaller ones for now. Here's a deeper question. Could the timing of melatonin doses be as critical as the amount, especially for post-viral conditions where circadian rhythms are disrupted?
Absolutely, Gaganasri. Melatonin's efficacy is tightly linked to circadian timing. Taking it 1 to 2 hours before bedtime aligns with the body's natural melatonin peak, enhancing its effects on sleep and circadian regulated processes like immune modulation. In post viral conditions like long COVID, where circadian misalignment exacerbates symptoms, mistimed doses could reduce benefits or even disrupts rhythm further. Research suggests that precise timing, mimicking the body's nocturnal melatonin surge, may optimize its anti inflammatory and metabolic effects, making it a critical factor in therapeutic protocols.
That's fascinating. Melatonin's like a clock repairman who needs to show up at the right hour. Now, our final question. What are the key unanswered questions about melatonin's role in post viral recovery and why do they matter?
Several open questions remain. First, what's the optimal dose and timing for inflammatory or post viral conditions like long COVID? Second, how does melatonin interact with other therapies such as antiviral and anti inflammatories? Third, can it improve long term outcomes in post ICU syndromes or chronic long COVID symptoms? Finally, are there genetic or metabolic factors that predict individual responses to melatonin? These questions matter because melatonin's potential to support immunity, mitochondrial health, and neural repair could transform its role from a sleep aid to broader therapeutic agent. But we need robust clinical data to guide its use.
Melatonin's like an explorer charting new territory in post viral recovery, but we need a clearer map to know the best paths. One final last question. Could studying melatonin's role in long COVID uncover new insights about its broader therapeutic potential beyond what we know today?
That's a visionary question. Gaganasri, long COVID's complex pathology involving inflammation, mitochondrial dysfunction, and autonomic issues makes it an ideal model to study melatonin's multifaceted effects. Uncovering how it mitigates these symptoms could reveal mechanism applicable to other conditions like neurodegenerative diseases or chronic fatigue syndromes. For instance, understanding its importance on mitochondrial function in long COVID could inform treatment for metabolic or neurological disorders, potentially expanding melatonin therapeutic scope significantly.
That's an exciting frontier. We are out of time, but thank you, Prachi, for guiding us through melatonin safety, dosing, and the mystery still to solve.
My pleasure, Gaganasri.
That wraps up our episode 19 of Inside Melatonin. Thanks for joining us on this journey. We'll see you next time with our final episode.